Hey you guys, welcome back. My name's Sandy. This is Sawing with Sandy, standing right in front of my equipment shed where I store some of my winter toys that I hopefully am going to be using before long. Now, in the later part of the fall here in central Ontario, Canada, we can definitely get some snow, and I can tell you we've had it already and we're about to get more. Now, when the winter rolls around, you guys have probably seen me out struggling to try to get some of the logs that I use for milling out of the bush through that deep snow. Now, up until this point, I've used a variety of different tactics to get that log out of the bush and over to my sawmill. Some have been successful and efficient, some not so much. Well, today, I hope, with this new acquisition, something is going to change. What I've been doing, and many of you guys do the same thing, is you sort of search the marketplace, and every once in a while, you come across a good find. You just got to have it. Well, I have just had to have it, and I just had to get it, and here it is. What I've got here is sort of an antique to some of you guys, but for people like me, this is a great tool. This right here is what we'd call an old bobsleigh. Now, this has been pulled by a variety of pieces of equipment and animals like horses over the years. Well, today, this is going to be my introduction to my new find that I'm going to hopefully put into play throughout my woodlot here. I'm going to be using this probably to haul some firewood, probably to haul some logs, and probably from time to time equipment and people for that matter. What you can see here is about an 8-foot long bobsleigh by about 3 feet. The perfect thing about that size, 8 feet is plenty of space for a real good jag, a real good load of whatever I'm hauling. And the width, it's actually a perfect match to my snow machines. So that's a great feature. On the front here, whoever owned this before I did, they put on this handy dandy hookup. And obviously it's a little rusty. It just came out of a garage under a tarp. This is going to hook to the hitch on my snow machine, and obviously that's going to allow me to maneuver the bobsleigh. Now, what's great about this is the fact that this top piece comes off. I was not originally drawn to this because I thought to myself, you know what, I need something to haul logs more so than firewood. I've got one of those plastic type sleds for hauling firewood, but hauling logs is a different story. Well, this top piece comes off, and it actually comes off quite easily. You guys see these rods in here? That one and that one. They actually connect to these cotter pins. I'll try to do this one-handed here. That's probably going to be easier said than done. There we go. There we go. Those cotter pins come out, and then if you can imagine, I can then pull the rod out, and we'll just take this other one out here. That one came out easily. Now let's haul those rods out. And keep in mind, this has sort of been sitting, so it's probably needs a good work over. But get out of there. That comes out of there. And this one feels tight. I'm gonna have to put you guys down for a second. Oh, there we go. That comes out of there. And then this whole top unit lifts off. I'm gonna put you guys down for a second and show you. This right here is what I was after. This is what drew me to this piece originally. You guys just saw me take the front off. I lifted it up and it swiveled. This right here swivels. Probably needs a little bit of oiling there. And then the front also swivels. You guys can see how that works here. Now, another cool thing about this, the lower portion, is that it's hooked up in sort of an X pattern with these chains. What that allows me to do is, if you can imagine, most sleighs, they drag a little bit when you're towing them with something. But these bob style sleighs, bob sleds, when you turn it, what's going to end up happening is this inside ski will pull on that outside ski. This outside ski will pull on that inside ski. That X pattern allows the skis to essentially follow each other in each other's tracks. And because these top pieces here, they actually rotate, they actually swivel, even though the skis are turning with the machine, the logs can stay the course. They can stay straight and just sort of gradually follow the skis. Now, if I need to take bigger logs as well, I can always get longer lengths of chain, leave the extra chain just sort of wrapped up, and then extend it a little bit. But I'll have to see. This is my first real look at it, so I'll have to see if this length chain is going to work for me. But overall, I'd say it looks pretty good. Now, the previous owner, they also did some extra work to this. instead of just having the solid piece of hardwood here for the logs to sit on and sort of bang off of, they actually put these two pieces on. I don't know the exact material. It's like high density polyethylene. Is that what it is? Whatever. It's like the plastic that's on the boards in hockey for those of you who watch hockey. So very solid material, definitely going to allow for some wear and tear. On the sides here, another cool thing, we have these brackets that are made that allows that rod to go through to lock the top in. But this is also a piece of square tubing that I can drop a piece of rebar into in order to extend the sides so that I can carry a heavier load. Lots more logs, and probably going to be a lot easier to get out of the bush. So that same material that's up top here, there's actually a really thick piece of it here in between the top and the base of the ski. Now, if we twist it even more, you can see there is a metal plate here. I don't know if that metal plate was there originally, and then the person put this piece of plastic on top of it. So it has a little more swiveling ability. I don't know, but it works quite well. Seems quite durable. We have a look underneath here. You guys can see there's a single bolt that goes up through the whole unit, and that's the same on the other side. Just having a look at the overall design of these, I liked it from the first glimpse because not only is there some good solid hardwood used here in order for the runners to last, but those runners and some of the other bits and pieces have metal running over them. And so if we have a look here, just tilt that up just a little bit, you guys can see on the bottom there's some good steel on the bottom there. And in fact, there's actually that steel runner there as well, that carbide. So that's pretty slick. The hardwood here, you know, it could use a bit of a paint, and that's actually what I'm going to be doing. But for the most part, everything is in great shape. No major cracks here. All the metal brackets look good. They just need a bit of a touch-up. And so that made the deal that much better, because I could probably build this, but let's face it, some of the work that goes into making all these bends on the metal and making all these little welded brackets on the corner and sourcing out this plastic material, that could be a bit of a challenge. It's certainly going to take some time, and well, when you find the right deal, you can appreciate the craftsmanship, and well, it ended up back here with me. When I was looking around for one of these sleds, I wanted to have a sled that could haul logs quite easily. Now, there's a variety of manufacturers out there that have log hauling sleds made of different materials, everything from wood to fiberglass to, well, I've even seen some made out of metal and some out of that plastic type material. Some are very, very durable. Some, they say, are indestructible. But one thing was in common with all of those, because they're manufactured and they look to be very, very good products, they were very expensive. And I didn't want to dump a ton of money into it, at least not at this point. So what I did was I went ahead and picked this up because it's made of materials that if something breaks on it, I can repair myself. And just looking at them, I can also appreciate the craftsmanship. And as I mentioned, that is important to me. So this is what I'm going to be using this winter. I need to get these up into tip-top shape because they look a little worse for wear. It hasn't been used in a number of years. The guy I bought it off of used it to go to a camp of his. He used to haul in his cargo to that camp, but he's getting up there in age and doesn't do that anymore. So sold it to me. Going to put some paint on it here today. I got some red barn paint. It's an oil-based / latex-based paint. And then I'll put some metal primer and, metal rust paint over the metal components. And one other thing I got to do here, and I sort of found this after the fact, unfortunately, but if you guys look down here, you guys see right there? That's a crack. So I got to fix that crack in this steel tube. Lucky for me, I have a welder, so I'm going to grind that smooth. Make sure I have a bit of a view at it, get rid of the paint. I'll drill a hole right at the end of the crack so that the crack won't continue, and then I'll go ahead and I'll weld it to the best of my ability. That's it. I don't know what this is painted with, but here's what's coming off. Like, feels like Play-Doh. Anyways, that sanding disc is full within about 2 seconds, so that's not going to work. As you can see, my steel brush is the same way. I might be getting out the grinder here, just lightly touch it to take up some of the pieces. Now this is rough wood here on the bottom in places, and so I got to be careful. If I sand it, it'll take forever to get down to the loose stuff. So maybe I will try that grinder. Okay guys, well, as you can tell here, there was a lot of moisture held behind some paint, and so what I need to do at this point is let it sit out. Now that the wood is fully exposed, all the loose paint is gone, and I let the sun dry this thing out before I go ahead and put paint on it. If I put paint on a wet board, well, it's not going to stick very good, and it'll certainly be flaking off when I don't want it to. If we flip it up here, let's come on in the inside. The inside was a little worse, which sort of makes sense if you guys can imagine. This would have been where we had snow and water and rain and leaves and all that sitting. The guy didn't have it covered at all times, he said, and that is definitely the truth. So as you can see here, some of the boards were even going to start to rot if I left that paint on there any longer. So I'm going to leave it exposed. This will dry out. Should get a lot lighter in color when it dries out, because right now it's pretty damp feeling. But we got the barrier off, preventing it from drying. So now hopefully the sun can do its job. I know we're into late fall. We're not in the most ideal conditions for painting, but we'll do what we can with what we have. Anyways, back in a bit. All right guys, well, I'm in the shop now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to fix this crack here. I took the wire cup there on the grinder and just cleaned things up. You can see that the crack goes all the way up to here. I'm going to drill a hole right there so the crack doesn't continue. But if you really look closely, you can see the diameter of the steel tube. It's actually a little bit bigger right here compared to up here. My feeling is that water came in the end of that tube. If you guys look here, see right there, it's open. I have a feeling water came in there, or snow, and it got down into the bottom here, and it didn't have any way to get out because this is welded solid around here. And because it couldn't get out, then it froze. Obviously, when water freezes, it expands, pushes out on the tube and causes a crack, and that's what you see before you. So I'm not only going to drill a hole up here, but I'm going to drill a hole down here for water to get out in the event that that happens again. Then I'll go ahead and I'll weld that solid. All right, guys, well, it's a few days later. I had to let the paint dry, and I think it turned out pretty good. As we can see down at the bottom here, I decided to go ahead and paint this black in color. My thinking was that this is going to be down near the ground. It'll get scuffed and marked up. I'll be throwing logs on this. If I want to touch up the paint, I'll just hit it with a little bit of spray paint. This is black. As you can see, it really spruces it up. We got all the loose paint off. We got it right back down to the solid wood. And so I think this is definitely going to be a good piece for quite some time. I'll probably end up putting some extra pieces of steel in here, as I mentioned earlier. That way we can load this right up with logs. But this gives you a really good idea what its application's for. Hauling those logs. You can see there, both of these will rotate. And I might just throw a little bit of grease in there to help her out. But for the most part, that looks pretty good. Now up here, I also painted this. And as you can see, that's going to function quite nicely. And even down here, after laughing at my welding job, you guys can see if you have a duct down there, you can see it's not too bad. So overall, I'd say it's pretty good. Let's throw the top on. All right, guys, well, there's the finished product. As you can tell on top there, I have the cargo carrier. That's going to be hauling firewood and cargo and equipment and logs and everything else in between. Probably some people from time to time as well. On the bottom, I've got my actual real part of the sleigh that I was after. That's the part that's going to haul the logs. It's going to follow the track of the snow machine through the woods. Be sure to tune in next time. Well, maybe not next time, but real soon, because I'm going to have the snow machines out as soon as we get the snow, and I'll be hauling that thing around. Hopefully this looks better than when I first started. I can probably say with certainty that's true. If you guys have any questions at all about this, maybe you own one of these, be sure to put it down below, because I'd love to learn a little bit more about it. If we get just a little bit closer, one last thing, just in case you want to replicate this paint. And good afternoon, Coda. I guess he's going to help us here. What we have here is we've got some barn red paint. Got this from Home Depot. You can probably get it other places. This is a mixture of latex / oil-based paint on the top. And then underneath, that is your standard black trim clad spray paint. So that's what we're dealing with here. Definitely a great project. I'm getting a bit excited for winter. Hopefully you guys come back for that. If you haven't done so already, give this video the old like-a-roo. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you next time.